First things first, this video is sponsored by Blink and their XT2 camera system. Stick around to find out how you can use it to keep your bike safe and sound. Now, I'm a very happy Suzuki SV650S owner in a very nice shade of blue, and ever since I got it, I've been mildly paranoid about it being nicked. I can only imagine what people who live in cities and, have to keep their bike out in the street, for example, are feeling. And so in this video, we're going to take you through a few tips and a few sort of different techie ways that you can go about keeping your bike safe. Starting with the least techie way possible, really, is putting your bike under a cover. Now, I know it sounds obvious and pointless, but it makes a lot of sense. Putting your bike under a cover, especially if you can only leave your bike out on the street, makes a pretty big difference. Would-be thieves who are passing by don't necessarily know what's under that cover, whether it's a tiny 50cc moped or a 1000cc superbike, and unless they want to stop and try and take the cover off, which brings attention to themselves, whether your bike is locked or not, they generally want to move on for easier pickings. A good cover also protects your bike from the elements too, so it makes sense in kind of multiple ways. Next is a slightly more techie way, and that's to lock it. Now, this again may seem obvious, but the more levels of a deterrent you have, the less likely thieves want to even attempt to steal your bike. Now, I have an Oxford disc lock here, which uses a disc detainer core and a steel alloy shackle, and so is reasonably good at protecting against the sort of rollaway theft, trying to hotwire the bike and then ride it away. Of course, you can still have it be picked up and, say, put into a van, which is every biker's worst nightmare, but it's still better than nothing. Now, if that last part made you feel a little scared, then the next tip is gonna help you out. It's basically to secure it physically, whether that's to put it in a position where it is, say, out of sight of most people. For example, I keep my bike in my back garden down a relatively narrow alleyway and behind a locked fence. Or if that's just securing it with a nice thick chain to something rather sturdy, whether that's a ground mount in your garage or in your garden, or whether that's a lamppost or a railing, anything that's nice and secure and means that a thief can't immediately just pick the bike up and walk away with it, is a massive help. Now, moving up the tech scale is an alarm or a tracker. Now, I have an alarm fitted to my bike. It's actually fitted properly. It's wired into every system in the bike and is actually going to cost a fair amount if I wanted to get it removed. I didn't have it fitted, it came with the bike, and my experience with them has been basically nothing but trouble, and everyone I've asked that owns bikes have said the same, and so I can't necessarily recommend that. What I can recommend is a good tracker. While this isn't necessarily a deterrent, unlike the other tips we've been talking about, it is a very useful thing if your bike does get stolen and gives you a great amount of information to give to the police to be able to recover your vehicle. And then there's the most techie, getting a camera system like these Blink XT2s. See, they work twofold. First, they're a deterrent. Because you can mount these outside, you can actually have them so that when any would-be thieves are passing by, they can see that they are being recorded, and since thieves generally don't like to be recorded in the act of a crime, and they certainly don't want to be famous for doing it, it's a pretty big deterrent to get them to carry on walking. And second, if your bike does get stolen, you have video evidence of them stealing the bike, potentially depending on where you mount the cameras, the vehicle they're in, or their faces, for example. And so that can be great evidence to give to the police, or even just to your insurance to prove that someone did actually steal it, as insurance can be a bit of a pain sometimes. You get HD video clips stored to the cloud whenever it's customizable motion detection triggers, and you can access that from anywhere using the free Android and iOS apps, and even download the clips directly so you can give those clips to the police or your insurer. It also gives you peace of mind, as you can check in on your bike when you're away, or see if you forgot to put the cover on, or even check if would-be thieves are sneaking by, something like this. What? You're on camera. I'm calling the police. And of course, these XT2s run on just 2 AA batteries, which by the way are included, and give you up to 2 years of battery life. so you don't need to worry about them at all. Oh, and because they're outdoor safe, you can mount them pretty much anywhere you want and cover pretty much any angle you need to as well. If you keep your bike down the side of your house, fine, the Blink can cover it. If you keep it by the back door like me, then again, you are plenty fine and covered. The cameras can go anywhere on your property in range, so you can really mount them literally anywhere you want. So that's my 5 tips for securing your bike. I hope some of them are useful for you if you didn't already know them all, and if you have any suggestions of your own, do let me know in those comments down below. With that said, thank you to Blink for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out the X-T2 cameras, I'll leave a link to them in the description down below and you can check out pricing and all that jazz. Otherwise, thank you to you guys for sticking around and watching these videos. If you want to see more, then check out the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Otherwise, there are a load of links in the channel if you want to support me other than just watching these videos, and there's also plenty of other videos you can check out over there too. That is pretty much it though. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next video.